Lana's at the graveyard during the night visiting her deceased parents. She then finds a letter with her name on it and then hears someone running off. Someone is running in panic. When he falls down, a man with a dog comes near and then shoots him. The man is his father. Byron must remain in the cellar. His father says if he next time pries open the lock, it will be more than a tranquilizer in the gun. Lana tells her friends about the love letter she received. They don't know who wrote it. When Clark reads it, he becomes jealous. He thinks it's a stalker. We then see Byron's cell door being drilled. Lex sees the love letter and they talk about poetry. He says it's all about seduction. Clark is upset because Lana didn't share the letter with him. A man apologized to Lionel. He has already fired multiple university students selected by Lex for the function of assistants. Lionel doesn't like any of them and criticizes Lex. As he's reading outside, he's frustrated and we see Martha coming by for the monthly produce check from Lex. She sees on the paper that Luthor stocks have plummeted. When she reads the paper to him, she understands that the article is a smokescreen. Lionel praises her for her talents. Down in the cellar, Byron is writing letters. The door is opened and his mom brings him a new poem book. He's not happy for being imprisoned, but she says it's for the best. He feels he's hunted by his dad, but she tells him to stay put. After she leaves, he starts to remove the blocks from his wall. As Lana's at the graveyard sleeping, we see Byron who takes off. Lana says his poem was beautiful. When she asks him why he leaves these poems to her, he says she inspires him. When she points the flashlight at him, he slaps it out of her hands. As Clark shouts and runs up, Byron falls on a stone. When he sees the blood on his head, he faints. Later that evening, as they're eating at the town, Clark apologizes, but Byron admires how he defended his girlfriend. Lana rubs it in that he's just an overprotective friend. Byron describes her beauty in a poetic fashion. Clark sees his scars, but Byron defends his parents. When it's 5:15, Byron panics and runs back home. Clark drops him off. As he runs inside, his mom tells him to hurry whilst his dad points a gun at him and he warns him. He's taken inside and he tells Clark to go away. His dad threatens to shoot them for trespassing. Lionel has offered Martha a job. Jonathan is not fond of the idea, but Martha argues that they could use the money. But Jonathan's concerned about Clark's safety. Clark tells his parents that Byron is being abused by his parents. When they visit with the sheriff, they're told that their son died 8 years ago at the Crater Lake. When questioned, the man claims he has never seen them before and they should be left alone with their grief. The sheriff says that he'll return with a warrant. We then see Byron chained up. Chloe finds out that Byron's certificate of death was signed by Dr. Emil Jenkins. He used to receive Byron years ago for treatment. Lana says that she likes Byron's honesty. Lex isn't happy that Lionel hired Martha Kent as he might have an ulterior motive. He warns him to stay away from them. Clark and Pete break into Byron's home. Clark is bit, but the dog backs off from the man made of steel. Clark finds the cellar door and breaks it open. When he frees Byron, he refuses to come out, but Clark forces him out. As they're outside, his body and voice change. He sends Clark flying. His face has completely changed. He then attacks Pete as well and then runs off. Pete is hurt. After visiting Pete at the hospital, Jonathan and Clark are allowed into the cellar by Byron's mom since the dad went looking for him. She tells him that this is the side effect of the drug that was supposed to make him better. Since then, he can't be out in the sun. The only solution they had was to fake his death and lock him in the cellar. Lana's mad that Clark didn't tell her when they went to the house. Chloe has found out that the medical trials targeted Byron's adrenal system. This company was owned by Lionel but is now shut down. Lana wants to search for Byron, but Clark warns her. She then finds him at the graveyard. He tells her he's not going back. When she says that they can find a cure, he says there isn't one and he wants to have her. But she scratches him in his face and he then throws her against a stone and then runs off in frustration. Clark tells Lex about the company his dad used to own, but Lex is disappointed Martha is going to work for his dad. Martha and Lionel enter the helicopter. When it takes off, it suddenly shakes violently. It is Byron holding it down. He then swings it to the ground. He throws out Martha and attacks Lionel, whom he blames. Clark jumps in and pushes him away, but then goes for another ride through the air. As Byron tries to take revenge, Clark pushes him into the sewer and they then struggle. However, we see him turn back to normal. He doesn't know what has happened. We then see him at the hospital and Clark visits him with a book. Byron doesn't understand how Clark didn't get hurt. Lana's not mad for getting hurt. He then grabs her hand and smiles at her. Clark walks out. Lionel says he was lucky because of the Kents. He calls Clark an extraordinary young man. Martha convinced Lionel to fund the research for Byron's condition. Lana visits Clark and sees that he's reading about sonnets, but he's not really into it. She likes his honesty. After he apologized for not being straight with her from the beginning, she says that he was the first person she thought of when confronted by Byron. When he asks her if it doesn't bother her that he's different, she says that if you like someone, you accept every part of them, but you can't do that until they're willing to share every part with you. Clark responds by saying that people like Byron keep a part of themselves hidden so they don't scare people away. But Lana says you have to take the risk if you want to get close to someone. He finds the risk too big, but she believes he might miss out then.